All right. Hi, everyone. This is my ZINE for this week's response video. I didn't really know what to do with the cover, so I just kind of wrote ZINE, and then I wrote the little authors that we have in the one movie, and just did this little design. But I like the inside drawings a little bit. So for the first one, from Gloria Anzaldúa, I believe, I chose the quote, "We can't transcend the dangers, can't arise above them. We must go through them and hope we won't have to repeat the performance." And this is a picture that I drew for it. So what I did was drew a ladder with broken spots, and then I wrote like suffrage and prejudice and oppression, and there was racism, but it got taped over. And I drew a ladder because she says something about transcending, which is, going up, rising above things, and she's saying that you can't rise above it because there's no point, just like there's no point in climbing a ladder with broken prongs. So that was how I made that connection. And basically what she's saying is that you can't really expect to rise above all of the struggles that colored women, that they have to go through. They just kind of have to get through them and hope that they don't have to get through them again. But if they do have to go through them again, the learning experience, they'll be better equipped to go through it. My next picture is from Audre Lorde, and the quote I used was, "For the erotic is not a question only of what we do, it is a question of how acutely and fully we can feel in the doing." And I drew a heart with flames on it, because when you think of erotic, you usually think sexy, how you're feeling. I felt like this quote, it was a good quote because she's saying, like, it's not about. A friend of mine gave me an example of, she takes pole dancing classes, and her instructor made them wear sweatpants, and something you wouldn't usually think of as erotic, but it was to let them feel erotic. Her basic explanation of it was that it's not about how you look, because you can look as sexy as you want, but if you're not moving right, or if you don't feel sexy, then you aren't sexy. But it doesn't matter how you look. If you move sexy and you feel sexy, then you are sexy, erotic. My next person was Leslie Feinberg. The quote I used was, "Bigotry exacts its toll in flesh and blood." And for this one, I thought more of like wars, because I didn't really know what bigotry meant, so I looked it up. And it was basically just like people, not being able to have the same ideas, and then conflict coming from it. So I thought of wars, so I put the Confederate flag and the American flag for the Civil War. But then she was talking more about the medical aspect of it, because in her story she gives the example of when she goes to the hospital and the doctor looks at her for 2 seconds and then kicks her out because he thinks she's not right in the head, but she was actually ill. On my next one, I have Mitsui Yamada, I think that's how you say her first name. And the quote I used was, "I, an Asian American, am still functioning as a front for those feminists and therefore invisible." And then this is the picture I did. So I drew the feminist symbol, and then I think you can see it, I drew invisible with like very light lead, because she said she was feeling invisible. Her whole the whole excerpt that she writes is about her feeling invisible to the American eye, and how she's fitting into this like stereotypical trophy wife without even really realizing it. And my last one is "Standing on My Sister's Shoulders." This page, I couldn't really think of any images to put other than the music notes, because my quote is, "They found their voice in song." And I really like that quote because, and then I have over here, I have different freedom songs. You have Uncle Tom's Prayer, Let It Shine, Get Your Rights, Jack, and Walk With Me, Lord. And Walk With Me, Lord is by Mrs. Hames, the woman in the movie that died, or that they showed at the end, her gravestone. This song was by her. And I like that quote a lot because freedom songs were very empowering to not only women of color, but just people of color in general. And they use these songs to express themselves. And I also found it interesting that these songs all came from gospel songs, so there was also religion behind these songs. It wasn't just like them making up their own songs. They took them from religious songs and turned them into their own freedom songs. So yeah, that's my whole